friends. Hello, hello. Oh my goodness. Join us. Jump on, say hi. Hopefully a few of you guys are getting your notices right now. I hope that you jump in and say hi. What a week. My goodness. We've had to reschedule this event a few times, so thanks for being patient. I hope everything runs smoothly. So let's all cross our fingers together that all the interwebs, everything just runs smoothly, but I think we're good to go. So excited. I'm so excited to kind of wrap up, so to speak, our scrapbooking rhythm here. So this is our third event. At the first event, if you guys remembered, we went over our picking paper method. And every time I say picking paper, I'm like, say that 3 times fast, right? It's like pickle, pickle, blah, 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 whatever that thing is. But no, picking paper method. And on this month for September, on this episode, we actually talked about using leftover paper kits. So for example, like pieces that I had in my stash, right, that we've already cut into, not necessarily full 12-inch sheets that you might have that look things like this. And we just applied the same paper picking method, the 3-2-1, 3 patterns, 2 backgrounds, 1 extra. And a lot of times with those pattern papers, when we pick those, they don't have to be full sheets. And you could still accomplish a pretty great, decent layout, right? So it's a way to kind of take what we consider a layout kit and let that evolve into a leftover kit. And then usually I let that evolve into a scraps card pack that I can quickly make some cards together when I need them. That paper evolution article, I know we talked about it in that event, that's over in the community, that really drills into that. Now, the second event that we did to correlate with what we're doing today, we did our designing event, right? We talked about design, and I just focused on using the featured set specifically, which I will let you know, these 2 sets are the featured sets, and we'll pull that up here, that you can find over in the shop. So we'll drop that in, the featured sets. If you don't have these 2 sets, these are the primary sets that I will be using in finishing up my layout. Love these sets, super fun. Stars is new, so if you don't have this one, and Everyday Adventures is one of our one-stop shop sets, basically starter packs that we recommend, but it's mostly because they're already corrugated together in borders and some elements that are already pre-sized for different things. So we'll drop that in the comment. Check out the featured sets. Every month we update that. And it helps just give us side rails sometimes, right? Like little focus side rails to help us to get started. And boy, does it make a difference. I know for me, it always helps kind of move me forward. And then, of course, we designed this layout. Well, this is one of the layouts that we designed during that event. Now, I changed the background. If you guys remember this event, this was all about designing with the featured sets. And because it was more like live friendly. So technically that cranberry red is not what I'm going to use. I did move it over to the 2 that we picked during the paper picking Monday. So now today it's all about taking our paper choices, taking our design, and let's finish it. All right. So who's up for it? You guys up for it? I hope you're up for it. Let's go and jump right into it. How about that? Let's get into it. So along with this 10 and done is a fun little challenge that we do every month. If you're up for the challenge, September's not over yet. And the challenge was to use a color that you don't often use. So I actually decided, because of challenge today, I did throw in this extra sheet. It's like a peachy color. And I pulled it from this main pattern that we selected, part of our leftover paper pack. And I will say I don't use peach often. So that's kind of my challenge, is to incorporate this peach color. I don't think I mentioned what pictures in my scrapbook. I have these Niagara Falls pictures that ended up, I actually decided after I designed it and after I picked my pictures, it doesn't always happen this way. And I thought, you know what, these pictures will go good. So yay for that. That's always fun when it works out that way. Often I'll pick my pictures at the same time I'm picking my paper. I just don't think I did that in that episode. So I just wanted to follow up with that. Now, this background is not that friendly. That's why we changed it in the design episode. But we're going to go with it because this is actually the background that I did pick as part of my leftover paper kit to use all together. So we're going to go through the decisions on picking paper, cutting out our things, cropping our pictures, and let's finish this layout. Hey, Natalie. Hey, Stacy. I'm assuming it's Stacy from Scrap Mania. Thanks for saying hi, guys. Trisha, how are you guys? Betsy, how are you? Thanks, guys. I see your guys' comments there. Appreciate ya. All right, let's finish the layout. I love finishing a layout. It's such a great feeling.
This is the best part.
Yeah, David's over here. Yeah, David's over here on the side. He was going to put it on the camera, and then we couldn't figure it out. And we're like, listen, let's not test our limits this time because it's already been a heck of a week when it comes to events. Yeah, so we're excited to be here. Actually,
but I will say I love it when a plan comes together, as the A team says, and like you start seeing it happen on the
absolutely.
Page, like,
yes. So of course, if you missed part 1, the paper picking, and then if you missed 2, the designing with direction, this is the finished one. This is the step 3. And we'll do it again next month in October, but definitely check it out. And like I said, if you're up for a challenge related to this event, the 10 and done, we're really not even going to use close to 10 items. I have my pictures, my elements. I did pick the color because that's what this challenge was all about, like I already said. And I have my 3 sets. So my sets that I've used on this design was stars that I mentioned, everyday adventures, and I did pull in the cameras and the portrait pieces here because I told you I was inspired by this paper. Now, little trick here, if you don't do this, I went to the DT checklist when I wanted to figure out what that 3rd set was. I was like, you know what, I should put some cameras in here. I'm going to be using this paper. It's so fun. And I want to use the rest of what I have left. And I just went into search down here and I searched camera. Okay. So this is also a great designing tool. That was part of my 2nd step. And of course I found these sets that have camera in it. So I did pull in that set. So those are the 3 sets I'm using. I'm using my leftover paper kit. I pulled in some enamels that had the color peach on it because my goal is to use that color that I don't use often. So you might have a different color. Maybe you don't use blue often. I use blue way too much. Maybe you don't use green often. I use green way too much. So peach seemed to work out good for me. Purple's a not as common color, it seems like. So I know that I've heard a few of you guys say that. So maybe purple is the color for you. All right.
Dawn is saying I can't see the templates on the paper.
I know it.
I know it. A little later missed your explanation earlier.
Oh yes. This background that I picked for this pack is not live friendly. It's not live friendly, Dawn. But I'll throw this image back up. It's basically similar to, well, I adjusted it a little bit from our live demo when I started pulling my pictures. But as I start cutting things, hopefully you'll see it. So I'm going to start with my borders here. Listen, I always recommend, truthfully, when it comes to picking out your borders, to start with your borders. And I went ahead, those were right like this. And I did design it top bottom. This is something we talked about in the designing step because this design is kind of a one directional. So it make sure that these go the right directional. Look at this. Even this little leftover piece of paper, I'm going to be able to get a pair of borders out of that. How great is that? So I'm going to line this up. And I put this one that was upwards at the bottom because then that makes sure that when I trace out, the cameras go the right direction that I wanted them to. And then this one will go to my left. So if you're not familiar with the borders, of course, we're going to trace it once down the middle. Pretty simple here. Really fast too. I love this because I don't know if I could do these live videos as often as we do if we didn't have this product, to tell you the truth. So I do love the fact that I have a product that allows me to scrapbook with you guys. So I made a mark right there. Ooh, heavy little guy here. I'm going to do a quick cut. So I always recommend starting with the borders. And for me, I just instantly reach for that main pattern because the leftover just had enough to really get another border out of it. And I love this pattern. It's a cute pattern. Of course, I love cameras and scissors. They're iconic for me. So of course I love them. A lot of symbolism in them, of course. And then,
even though they've changed so much.
Yes.
the patterns that you have there.
Our old school cameras.
Yeah,
but I still think of it that way. I know, it's so true.
Yeah, so different now.
Oh gosh, how boring to have a phone on there. Ugh. But you're right. There are like our kids. No, our kids are still, I think, would appreciate this. I'll have to ask them.
Yeah.
I'll be like, do you appreciate this kind of pattern that has like a phone on it? Or do you appreciate this? I think there's still like a timelessness about them.
Could be.
Or maybe it's just so familiar to me. I don't know.
At best, it'll be retro, which is a good thing.
Yeah, retro never goes out of style. All right, I'm going to ink those edges really fast. I do have a little pencil mark. That's okay, because inking always does the trick. And so many other things, not just hiding your pencil. Especially since I'm working with a cream background and this main pattern, the ribbon has like, it has pattern on it, but it does have a cream base, right? And so by adding that little bit of ink will help with the contrast as well. This will show up better when I take a picture of the final results. I was just looking at the camera. I'm like, oh, you can't see it 100%. But now you can at least see where it goes on my page.
They look really good already.
Oh, you can see it from the camera?
Yeah, you can definitely.
Yeah, so that little ink is going to help build contrast. It's going to help. I had like pencil. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I'm just inking over it. I was at an event this weekend. I don't know if any of you guys are watching that were there. It was the Creative Retreats. Had so much fun. And we talked about inking and all the benefits during classes and other things. And so, they were talking like, would you ink everything? And I was like, you know what? I would. And I was like, we make it part of our process because it does help cover the pencil, but it's so much more than that. It's the contrast, it hides any blemishes, it gives it depth, yeah, it gives it a nice clean finish. It makes it feel more cohesive together. And so I was like, so take away the cutting. Let's just say I did take it away for a moment. I would still ink it, right? I would still ink it. So I was like, it's worth just a few more minutes to ink it. And then, of course, you guys have heard me say this, that inking doesn't take any thinking. So that's, again, I think adds to why I can sit here and do this live. So, all right, border done. Check. Okay. Oh, you just said check. I see check. Yes, jinx.
But I unjinx you because you have to talk.
I'm going to put this over here so I can put my leftover templates in this. So I can keep some order to my madness. No, actually, I'll claim there's actually an order to the order. It's good stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the next layer. I know you guys can't see this, but when I get my borders done, I talked about how, and I'm just going to constantly talk about this process. It's what I use. And so I hope that it really helps you to adopt this process that I'm talking about often. And that is the play to create process, but also in the helping you decide what patterns go where. So we talked about main patterns, borders, they help anchor it. And then from there, it's really pulling the colors away out of your main patterns. My initial plan was to go the teal route when we were doing the paper picking for my next size up, the stars. But because this 10 and done challenge is about using a color that you don't use often, I'm considering on doing the stars. Oh, I just don't like it as much. Hold on. I will use this color because I don't use it often. What do you think, babe? What do you guys think? So let me finish my thought process. Mm-hmm. I'm going to the next biggest size of my design, which is going to be my stars.
I'm going to pull this up, so it's going to be those stars.
Yeah, it's going to be like basically that. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah. And so for me, these come in because of their sizes, what we qualify or what we describe as a backdrop design elements, right? And so backdrop is really setting the stage, a foundation. And they're almost like creative mattings to your pictures too, because they're often displayed behind your pictures. And so because of that, I'm thinking of what pictures are going to be on top of this. That's going to help lead my decision. I was initially thinking the teal when I was doing the paper picking method.
That was Cassandra's thought, was blue.
But then when I was doing the challenge today, I was like, oh, but I don't think we're going to do it. We're just going to use peach.
Well, it's interesting because, Cassandra says blue and Natalie says love the teal aqua with the camera paper. And so the teal looks really good with the camera paper. But when you add those pictures, it's interesting how it sort of shifts.
And it's just because of the sizing of them, you really do want to take in. That's okay. We're going to add peach and other elements. I have to include peach because that's the challenge. So I'm going to be using that color somewhere. So we'll get to it. Mm-hmm. I think the teal is going to look best.
Okay.
Right? With the pictures. I think it washes out the thing. It's probably because of the editing. It almost washes it out.
So you like the teal with the pictures?
Yeah, I just like the contrast a little bit more.
Yeah, that's the universal agreement here from chat.
Now, I could matte my pictures in that because I do have a matte here. I know you guys can't see this, and I was planning on doing snapshots, which is like a matte. So that will actually be around my pictures. This will be behind the pictures, so I can accomplish both worlds, use my challenge to use this peach, and also matte that. I'm thinking this makes sense. So it'd be basically like this. By the way, this thought process that I'm talking out loud and this kind of concept about how I layer these together or I place it here, there are some guidelines that I'm kind of expressing too, in regards to like making sure your pictures and your contrast don't get the contrast in your pictures don't get washed out. Those are all things, of course, you consider. But this whole layering, I don't know if you do that, if it's helpful for you to do that, but I will do this often. You've probably seen me do it a lot in live videos in general, but I kind of do that just because we are so visual, right? We talk about the designer templates being that visual tool, and sometimes with our papers, we're like, well, what does this color look like layered on top of that one? The best way that I can recommend going about it, and if any of you guys have tips, let us know in the comments too. I just lay them on top of each other. And you could try it like, okay, what if I did the peach on the top? Now, if I did the peach, it doesn't solve my problem where I feel like it's washing out the pictures a little. So we're going to go this direction. We're going to go for it. And you know what? Worst case scenario, I know we all kind of fret over our paper. Well, what if we make a mistake, or what if we don't love it? But I will just say we do have more paper where it comes from. If I have to find another piece
right.
in my stash, I'm sure we can make it happen. So let's go for it. Sound like good? Let's do that.
Yeah, definitely lack of paper isn't usually a problem.
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
There's so much to talk about during this process that I feel like I'm sometimes like talk too much. So you guys let me know. But I also want to make sure that I'm not just walking through the emotions. I'm actually walking through the thought process as we go along as well. Okay, so we're going to trace this on here. It's actually a nesting star. If you haven't played with the new stars yet, they're like our rings. So I think I'm going to make most of these. And because they can be traced out together, I'm going to pick up the one on the left and one up on the right. And I'm going to balance them and just cut them out of the same paper. So in this case, let's go ahead and start with our bigger one. I don't know if I'm going to use these dots for guidelines yet. I haven't gotten that far. Maybe I will. Maybe these are just for details, by the way. If you're in the Kiwi Club member, you saw the Kiwi Club Digital Idea book. So many ways that the design team used just the stars. So check that out because it was pretty impressive. But I don't need to use the cutouts details every time. So I'm not going to necessarily get to that step until I get to the detail step. But if you're wondering what they are, that's what they are. You could do like quick little doodle circles, which maybe I will do with like a white pen. I could also use them as just a quick guideline to do something even fancier if I wanted to. All right, so I traced out the outside. Now I could use this as a solid, but I actually do want it to be open. The openness just makes it not so bulky depending on what design you're going for. And in this case, I kind of really liked the way I had my photos tucked in and around. My pencil. I can't find my other pencil, guys.
Need sharpening.
Yeah, it does, but it's okay. I can manage. But this one does. You do need to pick it up and move it around. Like you can see that I was kind of moving it around. So, but easy enough, right? Again, didn't have to overthink it. And it's kind of like an effortless designing which adds to the blissfully simple experience here at Kiwi Lane. Let me think.
Lori says,
pencil.
Lori says, definitely watching you cut that star out.
Oh, we got this. I'm not worried about that at all.
She'll show you.
I'll show you all my ways.
Beth says, I punched little holes around one of my stars.
Oh,
which is
see?
so cute. So,
Beth did that. So
yeah.
Beth probably laid her template over her thing, made the marks, I'm assuming Beth, and then just used a hole punch and punched them out where you made those marks. That's fun too. Dang, do I have a hole punch?
We had it out.
Oh, we did have it out. It was at the show though.
At the show.
And it's probably in the show bucket.
Probably.
Dang it!
Somewhere.
I was really inspired by that.
Oh, I can go.
You want to go see?
I'll go see what I can find here in a minute.
All right, sounds good. Because I did have the crocodile. All right.
Natalie says, I like to layer my paper during the picking process because of your old YouTube videos.
Yes.
That was almost 10 years ago.
Almost. Oh my gosh, I know. And it's still tried and true, right? All right, you guys can't see. Oh yeah, you can see it kind of. I was like, I wonder if this light doesn't allow you to see it. So of course, I'm going to cut my outside star first before I cut the insides, right? And so I'm just going to stay, of course, to the back ends of my scissors and do quick shortcuts. And this pretty much, this bigger one, you can see it's almost like the whole 12 by 12. So I don't really need to detach it in this case because it's almost the full size of a 12 by 12. I guess you could say it's almost like 11 by 11. Often when I cut things out, and we'll show that when we cut our next pieces out, I'll say step 1, detach. I'll always say that. Step 1, detach. Step 2, stay towards the back ends, do quick shortcuts. Step 3, rotate your paper. And I guess that's it. Rotate your paper through it. Mm-hmm. Stars are pretty simple though. They're straight edges. They're not too detail really. They're pretty easy cuts, right? Now we're going to cut the inside out because we want the nesting look, right? We wanted the 2 from the 3. We're actually going to have this third one, but won't be using it on this layout. So the easiest way, doesn't matter if it's stars, ovals, rings, hexagons, anything that nest inside of each other. The simplest way we suggest it is you just trim in. So I know I'm going to have a photo right here in this corner. So that's an easy place that I know that's going to be covered. So then I just come in and I start my cut, rotate. Starting cut, staying towards the back 10, rotate my paper. Feed it through my scissors. And same thing, rotate.
It's funny.
Rotate.
Having watched you scrapbook and talk through and so on and so forth, like I don't scrapbook like full layouts and things, but I feel like I could. So like,
you for sure could.
I've got it memorized now, right? So like
the techniques. Detach. Play.
I like how easy it is to remember. Like no crocodile cuts, so don't snip all the way.
No choppy scissors. No choppy scissors.
No chicken wings. So
I do say that, but you can't see that one.
Yep,
rotate it through.
And rotate and feed with the
I will say I'm kind of picking up my scissors a little bit on this. And that may be the truth in some cases, but not. In most cases, it's harder. It makes it harder when you do that. Which instead of doing this, you keep this hand stationed and you feed the paper through.
Like a sewing machine, which super makes sense.
So on this side, I'm kind of just making sure, like I know, again, I'm going to have a picture over here. So I'm just going to snip in and I'm going to go to my next layer. So this is what we're talking about. We're rotating. See how I rotated on that corner? Yep. Same repeated steps. Same thing.
So Beth said, yes, that's exactly right. I think talking about hole punches, she said mine is a mini one, which is kind of cool.
A mini hole punch?
I'm assuming she's talking about her hole punch, unless I missed you guys talking about something earlier.
Oh, no, I think that's what she's talking about.
Lori said, definitely going to watch you cut the inside. That's where I struggle. And then she says, so if you were going to show the whole star, how would you cut out the center if you couldn't hide any of it? I think is what she's saying. So
well, I mean, if the whole star, if I wanted to end right there and not do another layer, I would have already had it. Like this piece would have already come from this piece. If you were cutting the big size as a solid, well, then you would never snip in because snipping in is only a tip for when you're cutting the nesting sizes out of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? So like if I was cutting the big, I would just cut the outside. I would never snap in to cut the other side. If I wanted to end there and never cut the size down like I'm doing here, then I would have never snipped in and do what I'm doing now.
And
so
if you wanted to cut the outline of it like you did on the big one,
yeah,
without snipping through because you're going to show the whole thing, you would probably just use the tip of your scissors and kind of poke in and cut the inside. I'm just guessing.
Yeah. Like again, if you're doing it, I have never had a layout that I've designed with any type of nesting design that I didn't have a place that I could just quickly cover with something.
It probably has to do with how the size of that.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're going to always have other things on the page.
Always. Most of the time, always. So, and if not, it can like be that like creative focus that makes you kind of just easy solution to that. Otherwise, yeah, like if you wanted, this I might just stencil and put on top. So I'm not going to cut those details either, but I can show you one for sake of, if you'd like. Yeah. But basically I would use my scissors, poke in, and then use the tip of the scissors for fine cut. But I'll get to that. Promise. Okay.
Should I go look for that?
Yeah, you should go look for that.
Okay, so don't get into any super fun things without me.
Yeah, because I can't see the chat. I'm gonna erase that. I look like I hit the placemat when I was tracing that because I was tracing on top of it, my background. So sometimes that happens. Now, as far as inking these, you'll want to take a little time and delicacy. The other thing I will add, because it's kind of like spaghetti there until you lay it down because we cut into it. Right? Like it's like a little spaghetti thing. I will say like probably will be more frustrating if you use too thin or too cheap of paper, because usually thinner the paper, the cheaper it is. That's why I'm saying that. It can still have cute patterns on it, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best to manhandle. I'm not sure what paper this is. It's not from a Kiwi Club because I mixed and matched from my stash. You know what I think this paper comes from actually? This is a Project Life paper from back in the day. It's probably close to 60 pounds paper. The Kiwi Club's, our paper is 80 pounds. Anything lower than 60 pounds is just, actually, I don't even think I own anything anymore. There's a few sheets in my paper stash. Never mind. I take that back. That is less than 60 pounds. I'm not a big fan of thin paper because I don't want to be so I don't like the feeling where I'm like, oh my gosh, my paper's going to tear. I don't like that feeling. I like to be able to ink it, for example, and not be too sensitive to ripping it. So yeah, so these, it probably takes me longer, which is why some people like, oh, I don't want to ink because it takes too much time. But at the same time, I think Tim Holtz says it, if it's not worth inking, it's not worth doing, which I don't know if I would argue that, but I get the sentiment of it. It makes a big difference in the quality and just the finishing touch. But some people honestly just don't love inking in the results of it. And that I actually can understand more so than I can understand when people are like, oh, but it just takes too time. Like that's the thing that's stopping them from inking. And then I've always been like, well, let's really break that down. Let's break it down for a moment. How long is it going to take you to ink all your pieces? And as a whole, let's say you inked all the pieces at the end, you're probably talking about like a 15-minute difference in overall finishing touch of your page. So I'm always like, I don't know, like 15 minutes, I feel like it's pretty reasonable. So now, if you haven't heard me say this before, this is the one color I use, Vintage Photo, since we're talking about inking. And it does it. Oh, you found my punch. I think I'm going to do that. I think you inspired me. Beth, I think you inspired me to do the details that way. I was amusing of adding these details pieces that are kind of a fun option with the white pen. right? Maybe I'll test it in theory. Let me finish inking this, getting ahead of myself.
Did you see Pam's comment?
Oh, no, I didn't see Pam's comment.
She says, I have trouble with inking when it gets like spaghetti, even kiwi paper. Any tips? Meaning thin like that.
Kind of like what I'm doing right now?
Yeah, looks like it.
Okay, any tips?
Do you have much thinner than that you?
I was just talking, this is like 60, but Kiwi's paper is definitely 80, so she even struggles with Kiwi paper. I'm trying to think what maybe you're experiencing and how. So like, of course, let me go through this emotion really fast because now it's just muscle memory for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, if you're letting it flop, you can see that my hand's kind of going in and I'm taking section by section. So for me, I'm almost rotating it similarly. See how I'm kind of, I don't know if that's helpful, if that's something that you're like already kind of keep in mind, but you see how I am rotating that as I ink, similar to what we teach with cutting. So what I'm not doing is doing like, I'll just keep going. Like clearly that's not going to work. So the part that I'm inking, I let my hand kind of structure that, right? And then of course I'm letting this just fall down and around.
It looks to me like you're also kind of adding some tension. So you're pinching with your
thumb.
I
am pulling. Yes, I am pulling
pinching
too.
With your thumb and your pinky fingers down there.
Yeah, I
and
do
your
spread.
Fingers are stretching it out.
That is true. That's a good observation there. Like I said, it's just muscle memory for me now. So definitely I'm doing that. I'm holding it with my hand and I'm pulling one top, one bottom.
And then pulling some tension.
Yeah. Probably leftover from my mom's sewing lessons as a kid.
Lori said, thank you for explaining the cutting of the thing.
Okay.
And then Dawn says, are you a paper snob? And then she said, I'm kidding.
When it comes to thin paper, thick paper, yes. Am I biased when it comes to paper? I mean, like, I just took your question all serious. And you said, just kidding.
Even though she said,
I know. I'm going to confess here right now.
Let's get into it.
Yeah. I'm not biased. I think cute paper is cute paper. So that's why I'm always like, I'll use whatever paper I want to use. Now, do I love the Kiwi Club paper because of the heavy lifting that it already does for me as far as the coordination of blenders and support? Yes, I feel the difference. And I think that if you also use the paper, you'll probably notice the difference in the heavy lifting, meaning what coordinates together. I've used tons of paper collections, Echo Park, different things, and it just never compares to the ease of a Kiwi Club. So that much I'll give credit to Kiwi Club. Not shy about that. There's a lot of confidence and I guess you could say pride in that. It took a lot to get to a formula that I'm like, this works every single time. I'm not biased on pattern papers. I think pattern papers are cute and I don't think it's ever fair to tell scrapbookers what they can and can't scrapbook. As far as weight of paper, hands down. Thin paper, not that fun to play with. Okay, so that's my 2 cents on that. So maybe it makes me a snob. I don't know. No, I'm joking, by the way. Funny question. Okay, so that's what it would look like if I doodled. Can you guys see that? But if I want to, we're going to take the moment here on this stars and we're going to add the details. We're going to go for it. Let me punch one out and let's just see. You know what? I'm going to use a scraps of paper here. I just want to see. I have this crocodile, which I have not used for, I don't even know how long. It's been a hot minute.
Natalie says, love Tim Holtz. You guys must have talked about that while I was gone. She says, you, Tiffany Spalding, and Tim are a scrapbooking dream team.
Oh, they're very creative souls. I agree with that.
Nice.
I've always appreciated them too.
I still remember when you connected with Tim.
And when I met him at a show. Yeah.
It's the most fangirly I've seen in a long time.
I did. He's a very creative person. You know, he's just so creative. He really is. I absolutely super. Since we're talking about it, do you want to grab? I have a signed thing from him. Do you want to see it? You want to guys see it?
Oh, do you have it?
Yeah, it's right there on my table, right behind me.
Just like laying down there somewhere. Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, I had him sign it when we were at an expo way back in the day. Even though his style is not one that I scrapbook with, but his mixed media on projects is so fun. I used to do more of those, but then didn't really have space. So I like scrapbooking is where my heart is. But this is something that I framed from a show. When was this back? 2014, guys. 2014, years ago. But if it's not worth inking, it's not worth doing. That's why I quote him all the time, because this is right here in my scrapbooking room. Too funny. I need to put like a print, like in one next to it. If inking takes no thinking, because that's my tagline on that. Okay, I like it. We're gonna finish the rest. I was testing it, but I think I like it, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest.
Quickly, Belva. Welcome, Belva. She says, I'm not familiar with this technique. Do you have to manually cut out your paper? So she must be new.
Oh,
stumbled into us.
Found this. What was her question?
She says, I'm not familiar with this technique. Do you have to manually cut out your papers?
Yes, that's what we're talking about right now. We're a few minutes in and we've already progressed upon our layout, which I will say again, I'm adding a little detail that sometimes are in these templates, but these designing tools that I'm playing with right now, we actually treat them like a template so that we don't stare at an empty page. That was one of our biggest hurdles when we were scrapbooking years ago, decades ago, and was the lack of just creativity touch, right? And it's so great when you have tangible play, which the templates are tangible, right? And visualization, how that really awakens the creative part of our brain so much faster, which is something that's super valuable, especially after long days, especially after long weeks, or maybe you stepped away from your craft room for a while. You know, for us, our story always came from that we were in the middle of moving. And so I had not touched my scrapbooking room for, you know how it is. If anybody's moved, it just seems like it's not always the first thing that gets unpacked, right? And it had been a good year or so. Now, my kids were young at this time. And basically, we had, me and my mother-in-law, we scrapbooked. It's something we had in common. I started in high school. She was a scrapbooker when I married my husband. So we both were just into scrapbooking, you can say. And anyways, and so sorry, I'm focusing on these dots and the thing. It's like, it doesn't take too much mechanicalness. Not too technical, but it'll be a fun extra touch. So after all of the packing, all of the moving, my mother-in-law was like, hey, I want to come out and visit you guys. We were living in Arizona at the time. I want to come visit you and let's scrapbook together. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like a really fun idea, right? So then, of course, my husband was really supportive. He was like, I'll take the kids, which we had. How many kids do we have at that time? 4? It was up to Lacey? Yeah, up to Lacey in Arizona.
Yeah.
Lacey was just a baby.
After Star.
So not only was I moving, I just had a baby too. So there was lots of reasons why I was a little dry on my scrapbooking. But at the same time, it was kind of this realization, right? So we sit down and we both were just like dry. Like we stared at our empty page. Oh gosh, I don't even know how long. And it was so disappointing in many ways because in my mind, I kept saying, my husband took the kids. Like I only have like 3 more hours. Like I just felt the time clicking, you know? And I was like, gosh, I really want to scrapbook. Like I really want to enjoy that feeling that we all feel when we kind of get into the creative process, right? And with that said, I was definitely staring at an empty page. And then finally I was like, ugh. And so was my mother-in-law, by the way. Like we were like, no progress. No progress has been made. And it's easy as scrapbookers to say, well, like, at least we got to spend time together. At least we were able to hang out. But, you know, I feel like where I've come to in regards to that is if we can have both, if you can hang out and connect and feel like you can make progress, then like, let's do that. Let's have that. So back to the moment. This is a long story. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. But it's kind of getting to what I'm trying to get to is the heart of what the Play to Create system, this ability to literally get to a design principle quick, to engage the creative process, through tactile and visualization to awaken the creative part of my brain, because not feeling the feeling of staring at an empty page, feeling of not feeling like you can, play with your creative ideas and building blocks, it's no fun. It's not a fun feeling. And I remember feeling that way. And so I left my guest. Okay. I left my guest at my table at the time, and I went into my living room, or my other room where my computer was. And I had said, I was like, I'm going to go look for ideas, because that's what we do. We go and surf the web, so to speak, when we feel lack of inspiration, right? But then what ended up happening was I ended up kind of feeling more down, because this is like back in 2009. I feel like all the ideas I was finding online were just extremely heavy on embellishments. And it was like one picture. Now, a lot of times that's still what you will find on the interwebs, but I feel like it's not as bad as it was. It just was very much heavy on the ideas, but it was just like, oh, that's really pretty, but I need like to go spend $40, which is where all these sayings that I just actually very much loathe. I don't like them. Spend $40 for a 25-cent picture, like all of these things that kind of started popping up. And we kind of joked at them, right? And I really, honestly, at that time, I really was, because this is like 2009, I literally remember in my head thinking, I got to give up scrapbooking. Like, I can't afford this, and I can't make anything pretty. If this is what's being like said that is pretty, right? I was like, there's no way. Like, I have 4 kids, things are tight, right? And it was really kind of like this moment of like, that's sad, because I really enjoy scrapbooking. I was like, dang it. So I had this like really mixed emotions happening inside of me. And then I looked at the clock, and it was like another hour and a half went by. And I was like, what the heck? Because when you get on, you start scrolling, sometimes you don't even know where the time's going. And I was like, which is fine when that's what you plan on doing. But when you really wanted to scrapbook, it's not that fun. It's just not that great. So anyways, with all of that said, I went back in, and my mother-in-law had made no progress. She was like the same spot I had left her. And I was like, ah. And so I remember at the time, I was like, kind of, again, in my head. And I said, after telling myself, like, I don't know if I can keep scrapbooking, like having all of these kind of doubts, really. And look at all these little things that I popped out. That's fun, though. Look at that quick, fast detail. It wasn't too technical or crazy, and really fun. Again, you don't have to add that. But when you're looking at these die cuts or cuts on here, they're all about effortless detail. Whenever we add them, even in the cameras, I'll get to creating one of these effortless details that make it easy for you to add it. So back to my mother-in-law. It is coming to an end, this story. I wasn't planning on sharing this, but figured I might as well. She was nowhere. She had nothing done, nothing at all. And I remember like being like centering myself, like literally taking a deep breath. And I was like, okay. And so I was like, let's work together. Let's see like if we can make any kind of momentum together. So I went over to her page. She was sitting down. I was kind of like leaning over her, and I was just kind of like talking, and I was like, okay, what ifs? What if you did this? What if you did that? And I kind of like did this with the border, and of course borders became kind of a signature touch, a Kiwi after that. But anyways, she got really frustrated with me. She was like, ah, she like threw her hands out, shoved at, like shushed me away. And she was like, ah, and I was like, what's wrong? I was just trying to help you. And she was like, I can't see like what you're talking about. It's actually really hard for me to see. Now, my mother-in-law's like really needs visual tools. Like she says it all the time. She's a very visual person. She enjoys, like, it doesn't matter what type of thing is being explained to her. If you have like a visual aid, she much appreciates a visual aid related to that. And anyways, and it was just in that moment that I was like, what? You can't see what I'm seeing? And so then we were like, well, what if we built some tools and templates? After that, let's just face it, we started to just kind of build pre-made pages. We were creating our pages a lot faster. So we were building pre-made pages, selling them on Etsy just to earn a little extra cash because it was back in 2009 and the economy had just crashed and all of these other things. And then from there, people started saying, well, how are you creating these pages? Because we were getting them done so fast and using up our paper stash. It's actually a lot where I used a lot of my paper stash was selling pre-made pages on Etsy. And so then from there, people asked us and we started to share how. So how we're doing it, we're using these designing tools, using them as a visual and tactile tool to help us to get to the design process and through the design process a lot faster and just bring the simplicity back to scrapbooking that adds a deeply meaningful impact to your experience. And so it's kind of one of those things you have to try though. I will just say that, like, you really have to try. And there's no question that I haven't heard before. So like some people are like, oh, but it feels basic. And I'm like, you're not going to hurt me. Like I've heard this before. I totally have heard it before. You guys let them know in the chat what you think about that, because no question, I have not heard before from a scrapbooker. So like, it doesn't even shock me or offend me or anything at this point. So
yeah, at this point, we've seen too many people that have used it, and it's helped. But I did go ahead and drop the link to the website for a demo for Bella and anyone else that might be interested in seeing a little bit.
Guys, I just realized I said I was going to do this in peach and then I was going to do the other one in teal.
Oh, is that what you decided?
Yes, because I wanted my pictures next to it.
Oh.
I was in some other world. That's okay. That's what scrapbooking's for. We're going to think about it. The same thing applies.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know if I wanted the peach next to my pictures on the maps. Dang it. That's okay. We're going to roll with it.
Let's go see.
Yeah, we're going to roll with it.
Anne.
We'll do red.
Is asking, where can I buy kiwi lane in Australia?
Oh.
Yeah.
Not quite there yet, but you can email Debbie, my mother-in-law. Okay.
The one she was scrapbooking.
The one that I was scrapping with that was annoyed with me. She can, I don't know all the questions to that. She deals with that more. And so email support@kiwilane.com.
Support@kiwilane.com.
Yep. And she can.
Mom that you'll get connected with.
Yep.
Lisa is asking about Tim Holtz, but did you cry like I did when I met you?
Oh, I didn't cry, but I said, I want your signature. I did say that. You're so sweet. Oh, you're so sweet. All right, let's make
big fans of the holes in the star, though. Lots of people.
Yeah, that's kind of fun, right?
Adds a little extra cost.
You can also do dots, and you can do enamel dots there as the detail. Again, those are just for whatever detail inspiration that you want to do. There's so many approaches that you could do with that. Doodling, punching them out, adding enamel dots where those holes were. That would be a lot of enamel dots, but you could do it. You could use stickles, and you could just use, again, if I was doing that, I would trace the holes onto the star, like with a pencil, and then use that as a guideline that then I could just place the things on top of it, right? So doodling or guideline, I guess, in that case. Let's make a camera together because I really feel like the camera is going to be fun. Then I'm going to trace my pictures and then come back to what color and that I'm going to be using. All right, so here's that peach color. It actually was on the back of this too. So I'm going to try to incorporate this peach color. I do have this paper, but which I actually think I do like that. I just like a little bit more subtleness, which is why blenders are really nice to have. So let's take the camera here. And, oh, I do have a little of this polka dot too. Again, we're using leftovers here. That's kind of our goal from this paper picking this month. I'm going to trace the whole base out. We'll make this one. Okay, so these little cutouts inside here are for stencil purposes. You could cut them out, but I'm not going to. No, I didn't plan on to anyways, because for a camera, we can do it a whole lot easier than harder. So detach, always detach, guys. That's a good example of it. I started with a larger paper. I'm going to detach. I'm going to feed this design through my scissors, right? I'm rotating the paper not my cutting hand. That's like just a great 101 tip there regarding cutting. So it's worth repeating every single time. I don't want you guys to work harder than you need to. Definitely don't want to that. Oh, I need to trim this corner.
Thanks for all your kind words about my mom. I'll pass them on to her next time I see her or talk to her. Also, Jamie says, I love Kiwi Lane. I used to get so stuck and frustrated and would just give up. Over the last few months, I've been able to knock out more pages than I ever have, and that is the best.
That's amazing.
That's the best thing you could say, because that's the goal. That's the goal.
That is the goal.
Fill up those albums instead of your closets with things. You know?
And also just enjoy the process again, because through that process, there's so much more happening than just the finished page, right? There's so much reconnecting to your memories, the centering, the regrounding, the gratitude, the creative flow state that gives your mind ability to process any troubles or situations that life demands that are always kind of weighing on us. So it's in that creative flow. So being able to have a flow state or process that you can depend on lets you experience that more often. And also along that lines, gets you finished pages, right? So it's kind of like the win-win on both cases.
We talk about pretty often about how, the scrapbooking process has multiple steps. There's different phases of the process, and each of those phases, each of those parts of the process have their own benefits and beauties. You know what I mean? Like the beautiful things that you get from each step, whether that's the prepping part where you're just looking at photos and making choices, or trying to make creative choices with your paper, pulling things together, whether that's the design part of the process, or whether that's the actual trace, cut, ink, replace, detail part of the process. But and you get benefits from all of those, but there are also benefits that you get when you finish, like when you go from start to finish.
100%.
And so on top of it all, there's certain things that you experience: creative fulfillment, that sense of celebration, that being able to kind of
see your accomplishment,
see the finished product at the end that you get when you get to the finish line of creation.
Guys, we can get so nerdy on you. We have already gotten nerdy on you for a few days. Have been in the Kiwi community for a while. Yeah, we are in the mood tonight. We just got home from the event this weekend. And it's something that I enjoy that part, because I just so desperately want. Listen, our finished pages are so valuable, and this hobby is amazing. It's the best hobby in the world. Awesome. I've already said that, but it really is. And we just really need to appreciate the full process from the start to finish, like David was talking about. Not just the checklist of finishing the pages. It's the precious time that you set aside for you to enjoy the joy that comes from this hobby. But also just, again, the impact to your own health, hope, and happiness.
Right.
And that finished page absolutely is an accomplishment, but so is the appreciation for the other things that it also gives you, not just the appreciation of the finished page. So, okay, so I love to paper piece these. Go ahead.
Lovely. And just the way that it flows into every other aspect of your life. Susan and I, when we talk about creativity,
which we talk a lot. It's like, you guys, we talk too much about the crow's list.
We spend too much time talking to each other about creativity.
It's something we have in common. Like the creative process is like a shared passion.
We talk about how there's a few different lanes where creativity comes in. There's home front creation is what we think of it as, which is the kind of creativity you need just in your home life, in your home, your family, your house, sorting out all the things you need to sort out just to navigate daily life with families and stuff, career.
So much, guys. If you guys
career creation is another lane, and that's your job.
I'm going to do a little lens thing.
And then free time creation, and that's where we feel like scrapbooking lives, and hobbies in general. But it is crazy how when you can utilize that free time space, it's a little less high stakes, and it's better to get into a flow state. It does flow into those other areas in your life in a really beautiful way.
That's why it's the best hobby in the world.
Right. Right. Shannon Straight says, I still make basic pages, but I have seen pages made that are anything but basic. She says, I watch Linda create and she always amuses me. So.
Oh, I think that's what's so beautiful about the process. And I'm definitely not biased on that. I think any style is worth celebrating. Call it basic, call it whatever you want. Here, I always say, did you have fun? And if you had fun, then it was worth it. If you enjoyed it, had fun, enjoyed, then whatever the style that you find joy out of is always something super worth celebrating, right? Like, it's why we do our layout share. We do our layout share from the community, and there's so much to find inspiration from each of us, no matter our style, no matter the, honestly, the background, whatever it is, like, there's so much we can be inspired by each other in those. So, okay, that leaves, and it's just screaming at me. Pop me up. Okay, I'll pop you up.
That peach looks really cute on the camera.
Yeah, the peach circs there, huh?
Yeah.
I decided to do it for the background here. And I liked how the stripes kind of go sideways. Yeah. But I didn't talk too much about it, but these other pieces I used as a stencil where I traced them on another paper and then popped them up. And so all these little details are just, use your scraps of paper, really, right there. Now, I do have this other camera over here that I kind of want to bring to life too. So I'm thinking for this one, I want to add more of this polka dot. I don't have tons of it, so I want to incorporate what I do have. And I think that will be cute on here. I do have a little heart here too, or star. Sorry, not a heart. That could be cute here. I better take that out because if I cut into this, I'll lose my opportunity there. That's kind of cute. I'm going to go that route. Okay, so I'm going to trace this on. I got to adjust it just right, but I love that I can get it out of the little leftover paper, little scrap. Then we're going to take that peach because that's part of this events challenge. Use a color I don't use often. And I'm going to make that. I'll come back and cut that star out here in a moment. I'm going to make this other camera. Let's kind of repeat the same process. I'm going to do that same process here and see what we can do. Yeah, let's do it. I'm definitely going to still layer because I love the pattern papers. And that's the beauty of the Play to Create process too, is it really helps pull in all your pattern papers in a beautiful way if you're up for the challenge. Someone had once mentioned to me, they were like, I still struggle with like mixing pattern papers together. This was I think this was at the New Jersey show actually. So back in August. And, and I had said, well, like one, do you like the look? Do you like the look when the patterns are being used together on these layouts? And she's like, yeah. And so I said, okay, so it's not a style preference then. And she's like, no, I love the look. I just struggle. And I said, okay. And I said, then it's a comfort level. So you just need to kind of challenge yourself more to get past your comfort level. Because in her case, and maybe this is true for some of you as well, if it's you like the look of it, but you still struggle, well, one, hopefully our paper picking method and me talking about some of these thought processes help you in your own scrapbooking when it comes to paper selections and choices. But if it's not the style that you're hesitant about, it's just you're still uncomfortable with it, then yeah, it's definitely a comfort level, meaning that your baseline of comfort related to using patterns, because maybe you've struggled for so long and so you're still hesitant, it just hasn't been like moved, like raised. And the truth is, anything that might be a comfort level, you have to just kind of challenge yourself. Like you just have to jump into it, right? Like, and so she was like, oh my gosh. So hopefully that's helpful to you guys, because I was like, she's like, you're right. Like, I'm like, you just got to cut into the dang paper. You just got to do it. So, and again, there are some rules. Like I said, the busier patterns, I often, like, again, when I say that, there's no like rules in scrapbooking or creative, but there's some guidelines. And we have that paper picking paper guideline. We can try to find that and throw that in the chat. It's something we share often and we talk about often, that help give you some of those guidelines. So yeah, you need a little pop-up too. We'll do a little pop-up top and bottom. And I'm gonna kind of cluster this, and then I'm gonna offset this cluster with a top. See that? Diagonal, balance, opposite. And then I even kind of moved this star up here and this one just a little down towards the bottom so that it kind of has a diagonal balance on it too. So that's kind of what motivated some of those. But we did that in the last live episode. So this episode is just about taking those decisions and applying them.
Ruby asks or says, I love the cameras. Are they from an old kit?
They are from an old kit. I know I felt a little bad teasing you guys if you don't have these. But they are from an older kit. They are called, where are they? Where did I put them? Oh, right here. It's called Capture and one's called Camera. So they are from a probably like 2019 kits. So, but I knew I wanted to pull them out. So they were like my cherry picking pieces that I was like, gotta add them. All right.
Also, Dawn is asking, I'm curious, what are David's hobbies? That's my fault for talking so much.
It is. Yeah. It is your fault. I'm just kidding.
I guess very quickly.
Not the best hobby in the world, but he does have hobbies.
Yeah, right. One of my favorite hobbies is supporting my wife's hobby because it's the best hobby.
No, he has his own hobbies. He's full of it. He's so full of it.
Dawn, I love storytelling. So stories and story worlds and storytelling. I'm kind of a nerd about stories, in particular imaginative, like fun, fantastical stories. So grew up loving like Lord of the Rings and those sorts of books and things, and making up sort of imaginative stories. And so I love to write, and I like writing fiction, like things on the side. My daughter and I, Abby, and we're both kind of writers together, and we have a little writing group with some other friends, and we get together and share some of the stuff we're writing with each other. And
when he has time.
And it's just something I can kind of fit in around the edges. And then I think the closest thing I have to this in terms of like flow state stuff is really super nerdy, which is that I love to draw maps for these sort of worlds that I imagine.
Yeah,
so
he likes to draw maps.
I create sort of
You guys, I got to post a picture. He's way too shy about this. They're pretty impressive. Very much big world building concepts that he does.
To kind of imagine them out and fill out the paper and go in and, draw it and then ink it all in. And then it sort of just comes to life on paper. And that's my flow state.
Talk about time. Like the time he puts into one of those, I'm like, ooh.
And I can lose myself in that. So things like that.
But he also does D&D.
I do.
He's got a lot of little hobbies around that.
I do it a lot of times with my kids because it's so fun to make up imaginative characters, and then I just run them through stories and we kind of improv act out these stories together in ways that are really fun. So storytelling related things, I enjoy a lot. Yeah. Good way to kind of turn the pressure valve on life every once in a while and just vent some pressure. 100%.
That's what our hobbies are supposed to do. Which is not fun when our hobbies add pressure. So let it go. Less overthinking, more creating, right? This year, that's our theme. I've been thinking about next year's theme. I have a few thoughts, but we're not there yet, guys. It's only September. But no, for sure, like something I really, with all these events, and we'll see what new events we do next year. We'll maybe take a poll or something. I'm trying to think what I can get out. Oh, maybe I go this direction. I have this very much last piece of scrap that I'm trying to like make work.
For sure.
I want to cover like this half of I thought I really want to pull more of this polka dot over to the right side. So I'm going to trim this up here. And I'm just going to add, trim it up, I think.
Linda says, wish I had discovered Kiwi Lane from the beginning. It would have saved me a lot of time and money. Kiwi Lane is perfect for me. It's great.
I said the same thing, though, just so you know, Linda. I was like, I wish we'd have figured this out sooner. It would have saved me so much stress and money.
Jody asks, can you bring Capture back?
Okay, noted. Hey, since we're on that, if you guys don't have the DT checklist, it's the thing that I just pulled up earlier to kind of do a search, right? If you guys are on here live. Also on this DT checklist, so we have the own it and wish want it. If you click on want it, then that's what we actually pull our reports from when we're trying to like figure out what to bring back, aka unvolved. So you like click want it, and then we can see like what's more popular. So this is the app. It's free. You just go to the App Store and search Kiwi Lane checklist. Create your own account. They're different platforms, so it's like a different account versus the one online. And then it allows you to check all your sets that you own. If you don't have it, you can say I want it. And then, of course, it's also very helpful when you want to search like camera, like I did. And you're like, oh, where is that set? Oh, it's underneath well, in this case, if it's a Kiwi Club. So if you organize your sets by Kiwi Club, or if you're like, oh, it's under all around category, just depends on how you organize it. Either way, then it tells you, of course, what it is. There's a few new updates I'm excited to share with you, but they're not done yet. But I'm excited for some other updates we're doing today. So point being, make sure you go download the checklist app because it's super helpful for many reasons. Okay. But I will say cameras are fun. I agree.
Now this says I'm totally going to scrapbook this layout. So cute.
Good. Awesome.
Shannon says I need to buy those cameras. Tom says, oh, very interesting, David. I'd love to see one of those maps. Very cool. Mayhaps at some point.
Well, you can go get one right now.
That would be crazy, wouldn't it?
Well, we're talking about it. And you're not doing anything. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just hanging out.
He keeps an eye on the comments because I'm just kidding, babe. And making sure that nothing falls short on this StreamYard, because when we moved over to StreamYard, it's a little bit more detailed to keep track of all the ins and outs. Well, so I'm glad he joins me on them because it helps me. Yeah. It helps me focus on the layout and not be so trying to figure out how to monitor, how to make sure the connection is staying strong, and also everything else. Okay, last thing is I need to add these little details. So let's see. I am going to, I need a cream. I need a little piece of cream. I was thinking of that. I don't have cream out, so I might have to reach into my stash and get a cream piece of paper, which you think would be easy to find. Where's my cream paper? Mm-hmm. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Mm-hmm. Guys, it's so great that it's Wednesday. As they say, hump day, right? It's such bittersweetness of the day. And we usually don't do these in the evening. You guys will have to let me know if you're like, if this works sometimes, this evening versus like a 3:30. Sometimes we do 3:30 because it's right after the kids get done with homeschool. And so it's just like, oh, before dinner. And then, of course, we always make the lives available. But you guys will have to let me know, like, if you prefer the evening. Oh, you're back already.
Well, I just moved my office, and so
he hasn't hung them back up yet.
I haven't put anything back up yet. So.
All right, let me see this.
Okay, I'll show you.
Are you going to show them with your camera?
Just to get a sense. No, I'm gonna see if it'll slide right under.
Okay, well, hold on. I got to finish this circle.
And then we'll be done talking about it.
Okay, hobbies are the best. They're so valuable.
So this is just an example of the sort of thing I'm talking about. So,
can you guys see it?
A little bit of a glare. So yeah, just like to do kind of little artistic-y kind of.
And each of these worlds have a culture. They have a story. They have conflict, because all worlds do have conflict. They have good and bad, because it does seem like that's true too, right?
Right.
They all have a story.
Stories are fun. Okay, I showed you. There we go.
Guys, that was super special. He hasn't showed many people those.
Thanks for asking. I appreciate it.
He doesn't show them much. You guys should. Yeah, super special. I added the cream here. I wanted cream, but I had not pulled it out. I might add it back over to this side. I like the cream. You know what I could do is do the cream. I need a hole punch. Let me go get I was going to have you get it, but I don't think you'll find where it's at. I need a circle punch. Let me grab it really fast. They will keep you guys entertained on the
But like I was saying earlier, it is coming together, and that's the fun of it, man. Like we started with a white background with white templates on top. You couldn't really see anything at all, but now it's all coming together.
Yeah, I usually add my pictures before here, but I really wanted to, because of the matting thing, I wanted to make sure that I could fill all the other spaces first. Let me see, where did I only have this much left of this paper I've been kind of working through. Let me see if this actually fits here. You know what? Just kidding. I don't like it green top down. So I'm going to go, I'm going to pull the peach back over. See if we can use this peach as much as we can. Like I said, I meant to do it in the stars, but that's okay. I'm usually, oh, there we go. Okay, that works. I like that. I like that look. And then we can take our 10 and done because we're taking things from our stash. And I'm going to add in a little center here. Cute, cute, cute. And it all coordinates. And it's all using my stash of paper.
Kelly, come do an event in Calgary, Alberta. We know Kelly. Feel bad
Kelly,
we have that. We still are working on sorting out Canada. It would be kind of fun to pop up there sometime, but I'll have to see if you make it work. Pam says Tiny Highlights has a camera in it.
Yes, it has a little one too. Could be cute to cluster with these ones too. I'm gonna. Are those the same circles? I just realized I traced. Oh yeah, pretty much the same. Cool. And
Valerie is throwing a vote in saying evenings are better for her.
Oh, well, there you go. We might have to throw some more in. We'll do a survey, of course, because we have this kind of schedule for this year, but we plan to switch it up every year to kind of accommodate the goals and the focus for any kind of given year in the community. So we'll definitely keep that in mind.
Shelly says also, you know, it's better for me. My day job gets in the way.
Yeah, I know. That's why we always try to make sure that the replays. But yes, I totally feel you. I get it. That's why I said it's kind of a treat. Hey, listen, guys, I'm not gonna lie. I sat down this evening. It's been a hectic day, and I was like, oh my gosh, we got to do this live, and we weren't having the best with interweb, so that was stressing me out because it is kind of stressful when you're doing a live and things are like, it's no one's fault. It's just, the feelings of the feelings. Anyways, so I was a little like, oh, I don't know how this page is going to turn out. But here's what's so fun. Like, it rejuvenated me. It re-energized me. And I just took the plans and I took one step at a time. And I was like, okay, now go to the next step. And I just followed the patterns that I know that to be tried and true. And it got me to this far. And so easily we can talk ourselves out of spending, 20, 30 minutes in your craft room. If you have a craft room, listen, we're an hour into this event. So I get that this has taken us an hour to create our page. But if you only have 30 minutes, then you can just cut your borders out and cut the stars out and then come back, right? And you can pick up right where you left off. And then the next 30 minutes in one evening, you could do the same thing. Then cut out the cameras and then come back. So that's another thing, of course, when we talk about this year being like less overthinking, more creating. These are all things that we're really, really bringing to the surface of not much time. I think part of the overthinking is to thinking that you need a lot of time, or overthinking on which patterns to pick, or overthinking on just using the featured sets to kind of kickstart you. And so that's why we take these 3 series every month. We start with the paper picking, we move to the designing, and then we finish with the flow, the finish flow, which is finishing through the flow state. And just enjoying that process. And I can tell you, like, I feel so much better after such a hectic day. And I was, and yet, like, I was questioning it. You know what I mean? So crazy. Again, best hobby in the world, guys. Best hobby in the world.
Kelly says, that's okay. I could watch you create all day.
All right, we're down to photos, and I was going to do, I think, let me cut the photos first because I have these two little snapshots that I wanted to kind of like a portrait thing. But really, basically, these are just like basically mats with a photo cutout, but it's kind of fun design with those. I have those there. I have a regular photo here. I could actually put it behind. I like the tucking and layering. And then I only have one mat over here with this photo because I just thought that would offset, again, balance, right? On left to right, design principle there. But my photos that I have, and I'll add some journaling, which I had journaling. I think I'll do that with the everyday natures. It has like the lines already. So I think, where did I have this? I had it here somewhere. Did I have it layered like this? And then kind of like a star there. Yeah, that's cute. We can do that. Okay. So I'll probably, color choices. I might do that cream because it will help me with the guidelines, but I'll come back to that piece. I wanted to go to the photos next. I love to look at my photos and get a sense of them. So this one, I had planned to just do like a 4x5, and I did do this evaluation like that you're seeing me do now when I was like finalizing my photo sizes. So I had planned to do that one there. I plan to do this one here. So a 4x5, just trimming it up just a little bit. And you'd be surprised that even trimming a 4x6 to a 4x5, how it really impacts the difference. And then I was thinking, let me see what sizes, if I did those in here. So that one, let's see. I think I might have actually done 4x4s here, but then I pulled in the snapshots thinking I had like 4x4s there, which I kind of like though. So let me go back to this. So you might be thinking like, even on this, like, oh, would you crop it in that much? Here, let's go back. It looks actually really good by a 4x4. And yet it does slim off our faces a little, but it really pulls in the look a little too. That's kind of cute. Okay. So maybe I need to do 4x4s here instead of these snapshots. And on this one, I definitely want to do this one a little larger because I don't need the whole Niagara Falls. This one captures the Niagara Falls. So for me, I don't need to capture it in all. Actually, it's a little blurred out on the other ones anyhow. So that's really cute in that one. That works really cute, actually. I think just seeing a portion of that's really cute. I like how that frames that picture beautifully and really makes the focus come in on, yes, the backdrop, but also her offsetted like that. That's a cool three rules being applied here, offsetting that to her to the bottom right. That's really cute. So let's do that. So that one's a for sure. So I'm actually going to.
Actually, I kind of love that inside of the Polaroid.
Yeah, it's super cute, huh?
Yeah. I'm
going to just mark these corners is really how I approach this when I'm trimming down my pictures. If you can't see that, sometimes it is hard for me to see sometimes. And whenever that happens, I just pull in a white pen. So, but listen, less overthinking, more creating. Oh my gosh, the photo templates are like built for that. Yeah, like helping you not think as much. So, all right. So that's that. Then it's basically I'm going to build a mat then. And then on this next one, let me actually trim these down. So I just, even a 4x5, I like to just make sure, gosh, I can't tell you how many times in the past I've cut off and then been like, son of a gun. It's because, I don't know, too much in the head, right? Get out of the head. These little things, you don't have to spend your energy thinking or just, overthinking, I guess. You can make quick decisions where you can make quick decisions and spend your energy on maybe more of the delicate or details of your page if you want, but I would not spend my energy on this spot at all. And yes, they're going on the floor. You guys can't see that. They're just flying off and onto the floor. I do need to sweep the floor every time I get done with one. Oh, every time I keep having a talk with myself saying, Susan, you should adjust that. And I just, muscle memory.
You're like, nah.
I know. I even had a room that was once carpet. And I was like, gosh, this is such a pain. You got to stop doing this. And then, anyways, yeah. And I still don't. I still did it. Oh, me and Abby. She's so little. She wasn't little, but she was so little. Makes me sad.
How I think anything pre-marriage now feels little.
It does.
She's changed, moved into a whole new sort of stage.
I got to look up what year this was. I'll do that when I journal. But I'm trying to remember what year this was. Do you remember? Do you have it in your phone?
This is Niagara Falls.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What year was that? 2000 and...
Let me see.
When was COVID again? 20? Oh. There we go. Why am I forgetting when all of this loveliness? I think I'm going to crop this in. It kind of adds a different view. I was debating it because I'm cutting off a head and a bottom. I'm like still debating it. You know what? If you're debating it, let it rest for a moment. So I'm going to let it rest and come back to it. That's my other biggest thing that I can tell you. If you're not quite picking it, if you're not quite sure about something, then move on to another section and then come back. So I think part of me was questioning because I was thinking about, do I want those to both to be matted? I really love the thought of one of them being matted here, one of them being matted here. We're going to go the red route because...
I'm showing July 17th, 2019. On a video.
2019. That's what I was saying. It was right before COVID. So, yeah.
Really young Lacey here.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to do this matte. And again, I'm just going to, so I don't have to do guesswork. I'm going to do a little mark, and then I'm just going to go ahead and trace this one out too. So that I don't have to, oh, you know what? If I want two out of this, I better, just in case I want two, let's see. I might not be able to get two out of, oh, if I go that direction, I can. Okay. All right. Let's take a paper trimmer. I actually think my blade, these aren't supposed to be like crazy, like dull, but I think my blades had it after.
Yeah, work you put it through.
Honestly, I haven't changed this blade for, gosh, this is probably since like 2017. So however long that is. And I've dropped it a few times, so I'm not going to lie. Oh. Yeah. I've also had my scissors that long. I just barely bought a new pair of scissors, my Tim Holtz scissors. But I think they might be discontinuing this style. I just kind of get this vibe that they are, and they're only going to their new ones, which makes me sad because these are like my all-time favorite that I suggest to everybody. I guess I'm going to have to make my own if they do that. I'll be like, then I'm going to have to do my own, guys, because...
I missed a part of that, your scissors.
Yeah, I feel like they're discontinuing them.
For Tim Holtz, you mean?
Well, usually when something's about to go, the price shifts. Mm-hmm. And I was at the event, and I was like, yeah, these are like $18, but then they got on Amazon or whatever, and they were like $9. And I was like, what? That's such a good price. Grab them. And so everybody was like placing an order. I was like, that is such a good price. So it was 18, right? But I was like, oh.
Maybe they're about to come up with something even better.
Well, they came out with their spring scissors, which is okay. I don't mind them. It's just not as grand.
Right. Yeah.
So, well, or as comfortable to me as the other ones. So Shiloh would love those because she likes the spring ones. Let me see. Oh, that's cute. Okay, okay.
Really great. Yeah, the orange.
Yeah.
Orange. It's hard to tell. I'm looking at the camera.
It's like a
reddish.
Yeah.
Behind that mat works really well.
Yeah.
Tom says that her blade sticks too.
Yeah, it's becoming a little bit of a. I was just looking at this, a little pop of white. So maybe what I'll do is put one of these.
Corner.
Yeah, I'm gonna put these in. I'll consider this my 7th item. I don't know how many items we got, but we definitely didn't have 10 items this time. I was like, I don't really feel like I need 10 items, even though it's called 10 and done. Don't feel like we did. We had the 2 sets, 3 sets, paper pack, so 4. The enamel dot.
Fine. The whole punch count?
The whole punch, sure.
Sure. You're welcome.
We did pull the whole punch in. 7, 8, 6. We'll count these corner things.
Corners,
7.
You did throw that peach in. Does that count as
that's part of, well, I guess it was addition to the paper kit I put together.
We'll take it.
I'll take it 8. We're like adding items. How can we get to 10? Oh, no, we said adhesive didn't count because I was going to say the pop-up, but we were like, adhesive doesn't count. That's too funny.
Fun trip.
I don't need to put one over there. It's going to be hidden, so I'm not going to waste one. Okay, so I want this to be tucked. Oh, kind of like that. And then this to be tucked. Nope, this came on top actually, like that. There we go. Oh, it went under here. Okay, I'm going to have to adhere this down because I feel like everybody always asks me, but we'll get there. I think I just heard kids come in the door. All right, we better wrap this up.
All right. Donnie's asking, do you ever do watercolor splashes on your page?
I do. It would be cute, huh? I do every once in a while do water splashes. That could be our 9th thing. I didn't plan on it.
Little watercolor.
Little watercolor, little splatters here. I could also do just some enamels to just kind of add a little something there. Is that what you were thinking? Because that's where I imagined it. That could be fun. Just a little texture in the background. Like that could be cute. All right. The next one over here. And then we will actually pull those over here too. Why not? Let's put them on these 4 corners. I did smile when I saw these because these take you, back to, I don't know. I'm sure for some of you guys way back when you started scrapbooking. I didn't start scrapbooking until 2000. Well, maybe a little bit before that.
Yeah.
Like 1998, I think is when I scrapbooked. Yeah, 98 probably is when I started. So it wasn't necessarily, it was probably before that. These were like really the thing. And when I saw them, I actually saw them at Hobby Lobby and I was like, you know what? I'm going to add those because they just add such a clean little detail when you want a photo corner. And so there we go.
Ruby's asking what's watercolor. So I don't know in the scrapbooking industry, is there a company that makes sort of for scrapbookers a watercolor?
No, it's just watercolor. They're just branding it. It's just the same thing, like watercolor paints.
So kind of watercolor paints. And
yeah.
Kind of letting it kind of organically kind of bleed into the page in places. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now I can either go 4x4 here, which is kind of cute, or I can do one more here and do red. But I'm trying to imagine my picture that. So another one of those or a 4x4. So again, I don't have to cut into my things yet because I can play around with those. You know what? Maybe I'll just go ahead and trim this one down as well. That way I can just play with the paper. Just trying to decide if it needs it. It's mostly the picture that I'm trying to decide if it needs it.
Yeah. So it would either be the pop of red Or just a picture, right?
Or just a picture. You know what? I could trim it down to 4x4 and always trim it up again from there. So
you could trim it down farther.
Take it down in phases. There's another takeaway for the night. If you're undecisive, let it sit for a moment. If you come back, see if there's a way to start with one and then progress downwards. So we're going to start with a 4x4, layer that in. I might have to put the photo corners on them. They're getting a little lost in my kind of book here.
Kelly says she likes the 2. I'm thinking the 2 red is what she means.
I could slim that up, maybe adjust it a little bit.
Just do a matte instead of the full.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to have to engineer that then. But follow your inspiration. I'm going to... Oh, I just don't want to trim it down to exactly what it was. You know, I love the portrait thing, and you could cut the inside out. I chose to just put it on top. But I'm looking at like this space down here. Maybe I'll do like a strip. Do I have any more of that? Oh, I think I used a lot of that stripe or that polka dot. Dang it. Dang it. Where? Do we have any polka dot? No. Not much. But guess what? That's a good feeling. We went from a leftover kit to scraps.
Using up
there we go. Slowly but surely, we're using it up. So make those leftover kits and transform them into layout kits. And then from a layout kit, you'll end up with some additional scraps. You know what? We could use this pattern down here at the bottom. And then I'll come back to it. I keep saying that, but I'm going to come back to it. And we're going to wrap this page up because it is that time of the day.
Yeah, Betsy likes that extra pop red. I think I do too.
I think it too. It needs to be inked. The edges need to be inked really quickly. And we'll adhere it. Anytime I can group something, if I've like solidified that I like it, then I do actually adhere as I go. I group as I go. So that's one of my adhering, because like a lot of people are saying like, how do you, go to adhere these layers? I like to group first any top layers that can be grouped. So for example, in this case, and I am deciding, I didn't choose to put these corners on there. And I'm trying to decide if I am okay with that. Nope, I like the corners. So we're going to add them. I do like them. And
Kelly says, what about a strip of the cream? I don't know if you have.
I do have strips of the cream. That could be a good option.
And Dawn is asking, where's your journal? So if you're going
to. It's going to be right here.
There it is.
From the Everyday Adventures, which again, I'm using the featured sets, you guys. So we put the featured, we'll put it again in the chat, actually. These 2 sets are the featured sets, Everyday Adventures and Stars. So we could put that image up. So those 2 sets. And I just kind of worked with those in mind. Again, less overthinking. So I just kind of knew that they would work together because I picked them for featured sets. and we built this page. And then, of course, if you're in a Kiwi Club, we're going to create with these sets again coming up Friday. So that's fun. We're going to come and do that again Friday. And
is that the PJ play date?
Yes, bring your pictures and your joy for scrapbooking, aka PJ. And we're going to create with basically these sets again and the cinema set. And it will probably look completely different. But it's super fun to, again, use your paper stash, use it up. and play with it. So
Don is mentioning, saying, can you write the date at the bottom of the right side picture? So just fill in a little kind of
I could do that. Oh, I forgot. I did pull these out. You reminded me as part of my stash. There's the 10th one. There we go.
Might be the 9th, but we're gonna just say.
Oh, the 9th one. Okay, it's the 10th
one.
one. Well, we might need that 10th slab, so let's hold off.
1, 2, skip a few. 99.
There you go. 99, 100. What was the date again? You said.
July 17th, 2019. So.
I was thinking something here for journaling too, so I wanted to mention that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could just put the where you were.
And I was like, the star, I don't know if I need it, so maybe I'll take. I'm not sure who it was, but they were like, oh, you could.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Okay. Let's cut a little strip and let's have some fun really fast. And this is what I call like the final details, even though they're like minimal as far as basic, but I will say that can be really cute.
Oh, that does have a nice pop.
Yeah, and that's a little pop, doesn't it? And then
I suppose you could put the date on one of the pictures and a little strip on the other one.
Well, I was thinking of doing that there on the thing and then writing about Niagara Falls. So I wanted to add my journaling there, but I can also do that there. It just kind of screams like, and I like to step back when you get to this final step. So thinking about that, right? Start with your borders, go to your next biggest piece in your set. Then, of course, you can go to your photos. You can go to the details. I guess in this case, we went to details, then our photos. Then at this point, you can look at your finishing touches. And you know what? I think it works. Actually, I have enough paper. I'll just cut another one. I don't need to be too crazy about not.
Shannon mentions the option of double matting as well, which is always an option. But like I see my mom, I think my mom Debbie double mats a little more often than we do, but
double matting probably.
Yeah, Shannon says
yeah.
You can double mat with a little bit.
I feel like this needs pop up. I'm gonna do pop up on this photo too. So I'm gonna do a little pop up. Needs a little depth there. I like pop up. I go through a lot of pop up.
Mm-hmm.
Just so satisfying. Yeah, I like the two kind of layering off with each other there.
Hard to see in this top down, but it is satisfying in person.
Yeah.
That dimension, huh?
Yeah. And then we can still put the date here. So what was that date again, Dave, you said?
Yeah, July 17th.
July 17th.
2019.
July 17th. Actually, I'm going to put them. July.
Yep, July 17th.
17th. Okay. 2019?
2019, yeah. 6 years ago, for real?
6 years ago.
Wowza.
Yeah, life is, well, and then, yeah, we had COVID years in there, which was crazy.
That's right.
From a business point of view, from a life point of view, it was just crazy.
Can you believe
but we survived for the most part.
We started tonight with just that cream background paper and a bunch of templates.
Just the cream background and some pre-selected paper using the paper formula. And then I just took the challenge and pulled out another paper to add some peach in it. Maybe not as much, but I actually do. I technically used a lot of peach on purpose. And maybe I have some peach. Yeah, maybe I do have some up here. A few peach little enamel dots. I don't know. Maybe we do a little, maybe I don't do, again, I have them out from the stash. So I'm going to use the stash really fast, because that's also part of this challenge, is to use our stash. I might need to add a little glue to that background. I hate when enamel dots don't have. And
Don says, turned out fantastic.
And then maybe put like that there. A few more, why not? Ugh. Maybe I'll still sprinkle some stuff there. I don't know. Not needed though. That wasn't necessarily terribly needed, but kind of fun.
Yeah.
Kind of fun. I need another one there. There we go. And another one. That's the downfall of those things. Maybe it's too much. No, it looks like chicken pox. Okay, hold on, Susan.
the most adorable chicken pox ever.
Come off, Mills. Do it. Do it.
Kelly says she loves the layout as well.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
That's a fun way to end.
Okay, I'm gonna have to glue those on.
Busy day, huh?
It was a fun way to end a busy day. Not expected. And always, I don't know why I'm surprised. I don't know why I'm surprised, but I still some days get surprised. Yeah, I think I'm going to try to get this out of this cream. I'm going to try really fast, see if I have another cream paper. Can you believe it?
Another piece of leftover paper.
This is too creamy. I don't like it. So I'm going to just engineer this a little bit. So what we're going to do is, I can't fully get the full thing, so I'm going to trace one side, slide it over, because we are using our scraps of paper, so we can do this. And then trace the other side. And then do that. I'll probably add my journaling in the morning, but I'll take a picture and definitely share it in the community. But I wanted to at least cut that out.
How small Eli is. Oh my heavens.
A little kid. He still has that hat.
He still has that hat. Yeah.
I think he does, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Like, he was just wearing it the other day.
That's so funny. He still has that hat.
He's 14 now. His voice has dropped. He's tall.
He's getting so tall. Every day he keeps coming up to me. Maybe not every day. Maybe every other day. He's like, Mom, I'm taller than you. And I'm like, not yet. He's passed up his sisters, but he has not passed me up. He's maybe still got another 1.5 inches, I think. Yeah.
Probably so. I haven't measured him for a minute, so.
Yeah, he keeps trying to convince me. And then like I look down and he's like standing on his toes. And I'm like, no, dude. And then he's like, well, soon you're going to get shorter. Isn't that how it works? And I'm like, that is so rude.
Yeah.
I was like,
So rude.
I was like, facts or no facts, it doesn't make a difference. Okay, and then I'll do my doodle. I'll do my journaling on that. Is Gail still on here? Gail, you need to come do my journaling for me.
As always, Gail, we need your handwriting.
I need your handy hand. I think I might just leave that tag as decorative. I wanted to pull the pattern over from here to left. Was kind of my thought process there. Oh, and then where did that last piece of, I think I might, I don't know. I was just looking at this edge here. That is not that straight of a line. So we're going to try again. I could just use a paper trimmer, but I'm not going to. Tiny little detail. Get some. Come on. I refilled my glue. Oh, there we go. And it's just been kind of a finicky thing, which makes me sad because I love the glue press, but I don't know what it is. Seems like it's finicky since I filled it up again. I'm sure it's just waking up. Oh yeah, I like the little trimming on that.
That actually makes a big difference.
Yeah.
It's the little things, huh?
I think I'm gonna add a little trim there too. One more little strip.
I love that you're even inking the tiny little.
I know. It makes my hands dirty with the little details, but it just makes it.
As our friend Tim says,
it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
I guess that's the other thing. If it's not worth getting your hands dirty, then it's not worth doing, right? Because it definitely, in this case, gets my hands dirty. There we go. And we'll snip those off. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely.
All right, let that dry. Do that. There was one over here that I needed to glue down. What about these other ones? Okay, those are sticking. What about these? That one's not. What about these? Okay, cool. All right. What about these ones? Yeah, okay. Guys, we're to the finish line. To the finish line. I'm sure you guys are like, oh, she helped me finish this layout.
Way to go, hanging in there.
Yeah, hanging out there. Oh, hopefully you guys learned something new. Let me know if there's something you learned in the chat. Let me know if there's something like you're like, oh, I learned that new term this time, or I really enjoyed this part of it.
Or an idea, like just an idea.
Yeah, if an idea, yeah, you're like, oh, maybe you're gonna pull out your stars and punch holes. Thanks to Beth. Thanks to Beth for that little and like reminder. Go get my hole punch and try it out.
For Ruby, she walked away loving this layout, but sure that she needs the camera.
Okay. Dang it. Noted. Okay, I'm gonna start with my bottom layer. You guys tell me. I really appreciate what you guys tell me that you learned. It really, one, it helps us also remember, oh, that's important. That's if that was valuable to you, I'm sure it will be valuable to somebody else. I start with my bottom borders. I start with them by cutting. I start with them in designing. Usually when I design my layout, I start with the borders. When I go to trace out my paper, I start with my borders. And then usually when I adhere my page down, I also start with my borders. Then I have to pick up the other layers, okay, to get to this bottom one. If you're afraid that you're not going to remember, then take a picture. But for the most part, I'm going to do this. Now, I'm going to use liquid adhesive here because of all the punches. So I'm just going to have to add liquid adhesive in between. There we go. Yeah, tell Eli he also needs to get that kitchen cleaned. He didn't clean it before his activity.
Oh.
My kids are trying to get away
I
from.
popped out to tell my daughter Lacey, please make some cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, and make some cinnamon rolls because that sounds great. Before, why not? What time is it? Oh, it's bedtime. Not bedtime, but bedtime. I wish they would go to bed this soon. They don't. All right, I'm not going to push it down yet because I did want to kind of right here. That's the downfall, I will say, of the liquid adhesive. I'm usually a lot more confident with it not being a liquid, but not impossible. Not impossible. So I'll add some adhesive. I do like the interlocking. Don't be afraid to interlock and push things up and around. Kind of play around with that. Clusters that way. Cute. Okay, I'm happy with that. Locking in. It's also why personally I like this adhesive because it's pretty forgiving. Also, I do need to move this over a little. So clearly that happens. Oh, baby's not happy.
Oh, grandbaby.
All right, there we go. There we go. Okay, that's gonna go there. That's gonna go there. I'm like, where did my tag go? Yeah, and it helps to sing too for some reason. I don't know. That goes there.
Shannon, we're glad you found us tonight as well.
And then we're going to come over here. We're going to add some adhesive.
And Lisa says she likes the use of the cameras. You were asking what people like.
Oh, okay, guys. If you have the camera, it's time to pull them out, right? And I will just add, like, this is Niagara Falls, by the way. I want to just point that out. Like, I even was debating. I was like, oh, you know, we often feel like we have to do very themey to match like our themes of events, which is fun when it happens, but it's not necessarily always necessary. It can be more about aesthetics, clearly, right? Or yes, sometimes it's themey, sometimes it's symbolic. Like in this case, us taking pictures clearly can go with any memory. And I think that is what's fun about cameras, is that they really can go with the vast majority of memories. So I saw the red, of course, in the cameras. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do these pictures. I actually have another page of the same memory. And I think I went a little bit more Canada vibe, but it works, right? Like this could be really lots of different types of memories here. All right. So I got to get down to this star. I'm just going to use the liquid adhesive again here on this guy. It seemed to work pretty good with the things.
Pam likes the holes in the stars and says, thanks for showing me how to handle spaghetti.
Okay, yes, spaghetti. Oh, good. Yeah, you'll have to let me know if that is something you did. But I think the biggest thing was kind of what you said, Dave, where I didn't really notice it at first, but I was, holding the tension of the thing with both hands. And if you catch this later, and a lot of these just nuggets that we're talking about, feel free to watch the replay. It will be live in the replay. We'll post it in the community with a picture in our circle community, but also in YouTube or Facebook, of course. If you end up having questions, let us know in the comments and we'll do our best to try to get to them even in the replay. Okay. Okay. Then I always just kind of like place them back, of course, right? And then I pick up the bottom layer, which is this one. So I kind of like lift, put it back, lift, put it back. And we're going to do that there. And then this one we did pop up.
Kelly asking if we were on the Canadian side. I don't know that we actually made it onto the Canadian side when we were there. I think
we did.
Did we cross onto the Canadian side?
Yeah.
Man, it's been so long, I don't remember.
Yeah, that's why we had Scrapbook on, because your memory's not that great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a shame if we had gone.
We got the Canada shirt.
Didn't cross over, so
yeah.
We certainly did.
We did both sides. Yep.
Natalie says this has inspired me to use my camera templates. I haven't used them yet, even though I've had them for so long.
And and it's super, like I said, any type of memories really. And with that, I was looking at this thinking I want these guys. I'm trying to decide. With that can be, is the paper piecing. I think that's kind of what we enjoyed, right? Or maybe I'm speaking over you guys, but I think that's what I enjoyed.
Piecing those cameras
yeah, just paper piecing those together, using, again, these little cutouts as the details. And we're talking effortless details because that's what we love here at Kiwi Lane. We like simplicity. We like cute and simple, right? So just knowing they don't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be overthinking it, right? So simple details. And I'll do some pictures of the close-ups, but you guys could take a screenshot too, just to make sure you have it handy. And then next time you have time on your calendar, actually go put time on your calendar. Go put it on the calendar, because otherwise it does not happen. You know what is also fun, guys? If you're just wanting to make a camera, just pull out your scraps and make a camera. And then it's so fun because even moments like that, I love when you just find a place on a page for it to go. We did that with the bears, where I just created some bears. And then I knew I was coming up with the PJ Playdate. I was going to be scrapbooking a page. So I knew that I was going to scrapbook a page with it. And I knew what paper I was going to use. But I decided I only had like 15 minutes. So I just started creating the embellishing elements because I had it laid out. So you can definitely lay out a thing and just start creating some fun cameras. Just start putting some cameras together. You know, something else I've done that with? Bees. The bees. Remember, guys, the bee kit, if you're in the Kiwi Club or if you have the Bee Suite template set. I'm not kidding. Once you make one little bee, it's like you just keep wanting to make like a beehive of bees. It's so fun. So fun. Oh. All right. I think we did it.
Way to go.
All the way to the finish line. I mean, of course, the journaling. I need to do the journaling. I will do that. I don't know if my brain can do that live. I don't know. My brain needs to slow down, actually focus on the spelling. Like, it's like, hold on, how do I spell that? And all the above. So, right here, lift this up. Yeah.
That's great.
Oh, cute little camera there.
Yeah.
And you can do that. And then, of course, over here, too. So.
She said, don't forget the other star.
Oh, yes. Thank you. You're so sweet.
Thanks, Kelly.
That's why I put the dots where the dots were, so that it can kind of lean right into there.
Brenda says, you inspired me to do clusters for titles on my pages.
Yeah. Yeah.
All together. And then just a reminder from Pam for everyone that if you have tiny highlights, it does have a cute little size camera.
It does. It actually would be really cute right here. I might just have to use these little bitty scraps. What I think I actually have. Oh, this is all I have left of this. I bet you I could do it. I bet you I could do it. I might just do it just for you. So yeah. Just for you, Pam. I'm going to add a little tiny highlights right here. We're going to triple up our cameras. Why not? Oh, but for now, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. It was fun to wrap up this month. Like I said, taking it from our picking process to our designing process to our finishing process. And like I said, less overthinking, more creating. It can be done in phases. We don't need to only enjoy our hobbies when we have long weekends or big times away at crops. Like that consistency can be built in, and boy, will it make an impact in the other aspects of your lives as well. And an impact in using your stash, in using your paper stash, finishing some pages, feeling good about that, but also just feeling good in general, because this hobby brings so much joy into our lives, and we should embrace that joy whenever we can, even if it's in little small increments as well. So put some time on the calendar. Kiwi Club members, we'll see you Friday, and I think we're doing a Kiwi Club unboxing tomorrow. And if you're not a Kiwi Club member, join back, because it's never too late to join us in the club, because it just adds more to this experience that we're talking about, and guarantees and build confident, beautiful pages even more effortlessly. So, all right, guys, enjoy your evening. We'll talk to you guys soon. Keep playing to create, and we'll see you in the community. Bye now.